Been a while since it felt like this. Been a while since it felt like this. Been a while since it felt like.
Let's shop Father's Day. Flea fam, what's up? Happy Tuesday. Today I am hitting you with some Father's Day inspo. So obviously I'm walking the flea market week after week, day after day. So I compiled what I think would be really good Father's Day gift ideas because let's face it, as we get older, it is just harder and harder to shop for people. So hopefully some of these items can spark some interest, or I don't know, you can find something for cheap at the flea. So always know that. And so yeah, let's get into it. Here is Father's Day finds. Okay guys, jumping right in, the first thing I think would be an awesome gift is any sort of like plant or like even just like vegetables. So right now we're looking at a ton of flowers, but all locations have really good grass, trees, herbs. I know my dad personally loves gardening, and him and my mom do it together. So any of these plants would be a perfect addition and decently affordable. So you can just grab whatever you like and go. And then sticking with this whole gardening theme, I love this. I think these are gardening gloves, but also, I mean, the Swap has any kind of glove you can possibly imagine. There's like cleaning gloves in here, there's paint gloves, and like I said, all locations have them for affordable prices, ones with grips and all of that. So I think these would be a cool way. Maybe just grab like a little plant, grab a pair of gloves, you can grab like a little shovel or anything that your dad would need. Perfect gift. Also on this topic, something a little bit more expensive, but also a great gift option is anything lawn care, right? So lawn mowers, there were a ton of weed whackers, things like that, tools, insane guys. Okay, so I think almost every single time I go to the market, there is, I mean, several people selling tools. There's people selling used ones, there's people selling new ones. This was a pile of old ones, but just kind of an example of what we've seen over the time. So yeah, I don't know. Look at that. There's even like locks in there, little wrenches. I think these would be great gifts, especially if, you know, your dad does this for a living. Maybe he needs to update some stuff or replace some things or even just add on. I think that'd be great. Also, this would be really good for like newer dads. You know, I know a lot of my friends like are slowly just buying homes and wanting to do some renovations themselves and lots of DIY projects. So you have to start somewhere, and especially if you're not like a pro, you can just grab anything here. These were from the Alsip location a few trips back. And so here you can see a ton of more things. And then they even had some nice dress shoes with the tools, which was really cool. So yeah, you can grab some brand new dress shoes too. This was another table, but I still think like any of these are great options. Just, you never know what you'll find on these tables, which I love. So like, yeah, there was even like some figurines or little game consoles. Okay, and obviously a great gift option is clothing. I know my dad doesn't shop for himself, so it's definitely really nice when we can pick out things that we think would look good on him. Yeah, but this can go for your dad, your husband, whoever. So many options in the clothing department. These Croc boots were so cute, I thought. And there's a ton of those at all locations. So check that out. This booth had some old used like electronics too that would be great. Sticking with the clothes theme, these were some brand new pants that I was so impressed with. These were all Target brand, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, they were $5 to $10 depending on what pants they were, but there were so many size options, color options. And then I found this Henley shirt. This was only $3. And I actually love this like paler pink for a guy. It would be perfect for summer, some of those nights that, if you're going out somewhere with a sleeve. Okay, these plain t-shirts, perfect for any guy, whether you're at home lounging, 6 for $10, can't beat that. But also all guys like plain things, so those would be perfect. There's a vendor at Melrose Park that sells these used, I think some of them are used, some of them are new clothing. They were organized so beautifully, all according to size, as you can see here, but there were just so many options, and I think grabbing something like that is an affordable way to style the man in your life. I don't know how we stumbled upon these amazing Levi's, and obviously Goodfellow. There were just a ton of jean options. I think a pair of jeans would be great for any dad. These were really cool. Everything on this table would be perfect, and they were gently used, so that would work. Looking at more really good quality, like these were more so like dress pants in addition to jeans as well. And then I've mentioned many times that the market has a really good selection of like Dickies pants. This one was a cargo pant, but they're all good quality. They're all brand new. They have a jean option here for $30, and then to the left we were seeing some other just like really nice like slacks that work. So if you're at work or just want something lightweight and affordable, these are so good. I love these. And then of course so many color options and sizes available for you. So for $30, this is really cute. Okay, and I personally loved this bomber jacket I had to stop for this particular day. It was just such good quality, and brand new, and definitely caught my eye. And then behind that there was some more like work, almost like they were like doctor coats. So if you need that, we have that too. Okay, this is a staple at all of our locations. So these are any construction gear, any high-res type of gear. Anybody kind of in any blue collar role could possibly wear this. I mean, even if your dad, grandpa, whoever is like a crossing guard, I feel like that would work too. I know a lot of them when they retire do that as something to do. Anyway, you guys, there are so many options. I have a lot of friends that work at like steel mills and things like that that come specifically here because there's so many options. As you can see here, there's like vests, there's coats, I've seen long sleeves, I've seen hoodies, I've seen it all. I believe some of them are fire resistant. I've asked before for some friends. So those options are there. And then, yeah, they just kind of have a great variety. So this would make a nice gift, I think. And then we've also seen so many times like muffler shirts or like just gently used kind of, oh, these were particularly new, but if your dad's a work guy that kind of needs a new uniform, snag it at the Flea. Okay, going back to sort of any sort of, I mean, these are regular standard boots, but these would be great. I mean, for somebody from work and then has to go somewhere else. I know these are a little bit on the pricier side. They kind of range from anywhere from like $40 to probably like 200. I mean, 200 for like some Western boots that I've seen, but some of these boots will run you. I think they're all typically around $50. But really good quality. They're all genuine leather. Being around these boots always like makes me smile because I love the smell of like fresh, clean leather. So yeah, there's kind of like styles with laces, styles without. These would be really cute. With jeans, like I said, for work. A lot of them are slip resistant, water resistant. So I think this is also a good option for a gift. And also, like I said, it's a little bit more on the pricier side, but definitely a good option. Okay, and if you did want something a little bit more affordable, the secondhand clothes option for guys is so good. There's always like some really good band tees. I always find really good like golf polos. Some of them you'll see with tags on them as well. So I would absolutely just rummage through. There's like always really good denim jackets and things like that. I know every guy I know usually loves a good hat. There's just a ton of snapback options. These were so good. There was beanies as well, but can't go wrong. These specifically had, some more patterns to them. So if you like kind of something a little bit more louder, I would get these. This is from our Alsip location, but again, like all locations have this sort of style of hat. And then, of course, I've seen everywhere also some plain hats. So if you want that as an option, if your man's a little bit more simpler, you can go ahead and snag those. And those are always like a really good price, like under $10. Okay, another really good option I think for gift giving would be anything from these piles. So if you, like I said, I know so many guys, that work in remodeling or construction and just kind of need some one-off things. These would be a great piles to like rummage through. Or even for, any kind of, I mean, if it was me and I was a lady that had some sort of like house project that needed a little attention, I would 100% grab some things that I liked and kind of push my husband to do those to-dos, right? Anyways, and then of course there's also like a ton of like painting equipment, tape, things like that if you need for any to add to like a little gift basket maybe of house repairs. Okay, I included this. I think if there's like, I don't know why this couch specifically was giving me like man cave vibes, but if there is a space, or I know a lot of guys like to kind of live in their garage and like set up a second TV, and if you don't want to spend a lot of money, I think a really good option is getting some secondhand furniture at the flea market. There's always so many good options at affordable prices, and obviously they vary week to week, but this was a good piece. All right, and for all the gamers, there's definitely some gaming dads out there, and do you, I love it so much for you. There's so many games, there's so many DVDs. I feel like this would be a really quick and easy gift option. Maybe your dad hasn't tried something or listened to something, snag it. And then there's also like really good music too. Okay, and of course it wouldn't be a haul for a guy without some electronics. As you can see here, there's like bins of these are like, those were iPhone watch protectors. That would be a good gift. Cell phones. There's a ton of like, this one was like a hidden dash cam for somebody that drives. So if your dad does Uber or taxi like on the weekends or during the week, or if that's their job, that's cool. If your dad's a trucker of any sort, there's so many consoles that you can get that attach to your car and would work perfect for a gift. And then of course, if you want to do just something small and quick, I know my dad never buys phone cases for himself. So something, and like he'll literally just like rot it to the bare. It will literally be cracked in all the places. So I think for around like 10 to $20, depending on what phone you have, you can grab a really good case too. There's so many color options for all styles too. And then of course you can like pair that with a good charger. I feel like those are typically around $5 or so too. So I would grab that. There's so many. Oh, these are iPhone smartwatch like straps that you can do. So if your dad wants to like swap that out, if your dad's athletic, I feel like that would be a good gift with maybe like a protein or something, protein powder. I don't know, but these are really good, and these are really good quality too. They're like dupes for some really good brand names. So many options, man. Look at all these color options. I'm obsessed. So check those out. And then, oh look, there's more like coverings for them too. Headphones would be good too, especially like I mentioned, if your dad like works out, or even if they're working from home sometimes and just like want to put their headphones in for like a call, a good headphone like can't go wrong, right? So many different like adapter cables. If your dad's into tech or anything, the Flea is the place for you. Okay, I included these because I think every guy should care about skincare a little bit. So anything from nice creams to lotions to deodorants to, my gosh, you name it. There's like aftershave, there's shaving creams, there's shampoo and conditioners, there's any and everything. I truly mean that. That is hygiene related. You can find at the flea market. So I would grab that. And especially if your dad does like have some sensitive skin, you can definitely introduce him to something for a low price. Here we have some razors. I feel like these are always good for a gift. Again, my dad never buys razors or socks. So we always get him those for gifts. But these razors are really good, and there were some really good options too. There was like refills and awesome options. Like Harry's is a good brand. I know that Gillette Intimate one is a good one too. So there's of course batteries if that's the type of dad you have that already has his electronics and needs to get those. Those are an easy grab and go kind of gift. I feel like any sort of little basket you can make with maybe just getting like one or two items, like I said, maybe like a small speaker and that would be just like a really cool gift. Okay, our Melrose Park location, this is specifically where Fragrance Crafters lives, but all locations have um, a booth similar to this one where you can craft your own scents. And I think this would be a really good gift too because you can get, a smaller little bottle instead of investing in a larger one. So essentially, these vendors will help you just kind of tell them maybe what scents you're like looking for, if you want something like clean or floral or musky or whatever the man in your life likes, and they will kind of help you navigate towards what fragrance would work and let you smell it too, which is really nice. And so then they just pour it for you right there, and then you can grab and go. And then as you can see here, those are kind of the bottles that they come in. I love it because you can just, like I said, sample all the scents, see what fits for you, and then even get two smaller ones for the price of one. That would be really good. So definitely check that out. Or any cologne would work for a guy, right? Okay, so here I found at our Ashland location, but again, all locations have some sort of Hot Wheel vendor or vendors that sell any sports memorabilia. These bins were full of just random little cars, and I love when guys like decorate their office with this or just use these in general, play with their kids with and stuff. Love it. But I was more specifically drawn to the like figurines, because I know a lot of guys love like either action figures or I don't know, it was giving me man cave vibes. And speaking of man cave vibes, like going back to some of this artwork, I've seen so much like really good posters and framed artwork at all locations. Um, even these were kind of like vintage Western pieces that were like garage or from an estate sale, I think. Like those would be so cool, like above like a bar cart or something. So those would be things I look into, but love those. And then this is at our Ashland location. There is a vendor that has these framed pieces as well. I think these are super cool. Again, like that Joker one that's kind of behind me, or like any of the Scarface ones. It just gave me, again, like I said, some man cave vibes, garage vibes. What a cool gift. And definitely these are more on the unique, one of a kind side. So I think that would be awesome. Same thing here with like any of those pots. You can even grab like a good shot glass. I was looking at those. I feel like a couple of those shot glasses with a nice like bottle of tequila, bourbon, whatever your man drinks. That would be a great gift. And then I couldn't not include, some car fresheners here for $1. There's vendors all over that have, little dollar sections. So check those out. And then, of course, you can always make your dad something if you're not really into the whole doing a gift. But yeah, making like some cocktails or like really good fruit salad or just something to share. Obviously, all of our locations have fresh produce every week. So, whether you want to do some fresh fruit or some salsa, something like that would be really good. And then some other last minute things I think would be a great gift would be any of these snacks. So maybe like doing like two or three, maybe like a salty and a sweet of these. There's like beans, there's so many curated like nut mixes already. There's dried fruit variety. Here is, the options are endless here. And like I said, all locations have these too. So I know my dad loves a good crunchy snack at the end of the night. So I would grab something like that too. Oh my gosh. We were laughing here because these are some of my favorite treats, but I feel like these would be also a last minute great gift idea. This is a vendor was selling some pickled vegetables, and I think this is really cute too, like that with like a bow on it even. So just keeping it really simple. Again, if you don't want to spend money, I know a lot of people maybe don't even get their dad something, but this would be a great just to bring something, But no, so these are some pickled vegetables. I think they were like 10 or $10, $15. There's like honey at locations too for sale. So if your dad is into that, or hot sauces, I think those would all be some really good, simple, affordable gift options for dad. So snag those. All right. And then of course, I think if you want to keep it really, really simple, I think these were like $2 or $3, like just a few bucks. They might have been even $1, but who doesn't love a good box of chocolate? So that with a card, simple pimple, make it easy. I love these so much. So, and that's it. So what do we think? I feel like I missed so many more items that I've been seeing. You can obviously go way more directions too, depending on the personality of your dad, obviously. But some things I think I missed that I would have definitely included here, but I didn't find on some of these trips, were like a really nice watch or like a bracelet. There's so many good jewelry vendors. You can even find like a vintage one, or if your dad like stopwatches or something like that, ton of that at the Flea. I feel like if you wanted to go something even like, I think something like super simple, like the usual, like socks, underwear, whatever, all those basics are really good. I did include some in there, so that's helpful. And then of course, if your dad's like a big like sports guy or hunter or camper, so many good finds in those departments. Like you can find used fishing poles, or there's an entire vendor at Alsip that has like really cool pool and billiards and darts and gosh, any kind of poker games you can think of, or I don't know, just so many things. And of course, so much sports memorabilia, so much like sports gear, from hats to jackets to sweatshirts. You can find new, you can find used, so many good stuff. If your dad's an antiquer, you can definitely find something in that department for him. There's coin collectors out there. There's baseball card collectors out there. So yeah, I think those would all make really, really good gifts. Hopefully this helped and gave you a little bit of inspo, especially if you are in a budget. Like I said, you can definitely take like $5 and get like that chocolate and a nice card. You know what I mean? Or make your own card even. So don't spend a ton of money when you don't have to, right? So flea market's a great option. I hope this helped. I hope you get to spoil your dad. And happy early Father's Day to all the dads out there. So stay tuned. Next week on You, Me, and the Flea, we actually have a more in-depth episode 2, talking about more gift ideas, but wanted to throw this one out there so you have ample time to get your stuff. So anyways, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, share, all the things. Check us out on social media. Check out the markets this week. We're open every single weekend, indoor, outdoors, and throughout the week, starting at 7 a.m. So make sure to do that. Catch us here every Thursday.
while since you felt like this.